Invite Mr. K. Rajaraman, IAS, Chairperson of IFSCA, for his perspectives on India 2047 and the transforming precious metals landscape. A distinguished IAS official with a career spanning over 3.5 decades where he donned various roles, his diverse experience also spans investment promotion, FDI, PSUs, industrial infrastructure, VAT, administration, and many others. Welcome you, sir.
Distinguished guests, industry leaders and experts on various panels, invitees from other countries, and Professor Sundaravali and all the other organizers of this event. First of all, it's an honor to stand before you to speak at this Gold Markets Conference organized by the IGPC-IIMA Ahmedabad. IGPC has done phenomenal work over the last several years in taking a completely dispassionate and an academic view of the market, and has produced a number of reports. And these research conferences actually are a very important component of brainstorming and finding out whether the policies seem to work and how the markets are, where the markets are headed, and in what manner the recommendations can be made to various key players, including the government, the regulatory agencies, etc., on how to guide the growth of these markets in such a manner that benefits the country. So the research conference is I look forward to the proceedings of the conference and the research papers that probably will figure in this, and look forward to the recommendations that would come out of this as well, out of the discussions and the rich kind of contributions by various panelists. So the gold means many things to many people. I mean, I think, and for India at large, it is a very important commodity, as it is deeply entrenched in the consumer behavior, that gold continues to receive a lot of attention and importance in individual investors' mind. And as a consequence, we continue to import a large quantities of gold every year, impacting the country's external account. So therefore, I think while on one hand, obviously it's a good investment, in the sense that gold seems to be, the prices seem to be only increasing. I think we have not seen an episode where gold prices have come down. So from that perspective, it is certainly a very important part of the common man's portfolio. And we have also seen that in times of uncertainty, how I think gold continues to receive more attention than normal, as is seen in the global markets at this point of time. So from all these perspectives, from an economic perspective, from a microeconomic perspective, gold is a very important component in our economy, and therefore I think the research questions that arise need to be investigated, and proper reports need to be put out from time to time. Though it may be possible that maybe if looking at it from an individual consumer's perspective, the propensity to buy jewelry, I think, maybe amongst the new generation, maybe lesser. I don't know, maybe I'm making a hypothetical statement, I think. So whether it's right or wrong, I think you may have to tell. But I think the propensity to invest in gold as an investment product, I think, in bullion or on gold-based investment products like ETFs, etc., seems to be increasing, definitely, I think. That is, so on overall, I think gold is headed north, I think, both in terms of not only from the microeconomic perspective, but also from a macroeconomic perspective, and the central banks seem to have developed a taste for buying gold, I think, including our own Reserve Bank of India. So therefore, from all these perspectives, we need to kind of understand how we are able to bring more value to the marketplace by ensuring there are regulations and the policies are ensure that the optimal decisions for the government, for the country. Now, if you look at the gold, which continues to be important into the country, it's very important from a policy perspective, and it's been talked about for a long time on how to make the gold trade more transparent. Obviously, that means that how to ensure that more of it shifts from an OTC market to an exchange traded market, where probably I think there's more transparency in price discovery, and the effort of IFSCA in supporting the emergence of IIBX has been towards this direction on how despite all the difficulties, IIBX has made good progress. With the last this current financial year, I think they have done about 74 tons of gold, which I think represents about maybe 25% of gold as a bullion import. Of course, overall gold import in terms of doré and many other kinds of components might be around 800 tons. But the gold bullion import must be around 300 tons, which means that the 74 tons comprises nearly about 25% of the overall gold bullion imports, which is very, very significant. And the current participants in the gold market at IABX have actually now expanded with the Reserve Bank of India's permission to allow nominated banks to participate as special category clients, also being given effect with one of the banks also just starting the trading as a nominated bank. So which means that more of this should happen in the near future with more banks joining. So we expect that this means that the IIBX as a trading platform has received substantial approval and support from the market, which I think is very positive. So we expect that the IIBX to continue to innovate and to continue to ensure that it delivers value to the participants in this marketplace. And I'm sure that will enable more of the buyers and sellers to come on to this platform, which is a very positive trend for the country. Because the unfortunate part is that we are a buyer of about 800 tons, which comprises perhaps 20% of the world market. World demand has no place in the world in terms of determining the prices. I think so. The very reason being the OTC nature of the trade. I think there is no organized buying and selling happening. Rather, it is all person to person or peer to peer. So, from all these perspectives, I think the movement towards a more organized form of trade, I think, or a more transparent form of trading and importing is very positive. So, this we expect that our support for the further improvement of the IIBX framework will continue. So we expect that the more and more banks to participate as nominated banks. We also perhaps expect some of the banks, international banks, to come in as qualified suppliers. I think which hopefully should happen in some time from now. All this will further scale up the opportunities for IIBX as a means to bring in gold. I think we have not followed the path which has been taken by China, where all trading has been mandated on a gold exchange. So, but despite that, I think there is good traction, and that is also, I feel, a good, thing on a good pressure on IIBX to stay competitive. I think that's very, very important. I think so. It is just not you rule the market because of monopoly. I think which is bad. I think so. It's a good thing that you are here because the market wants you. I think not because we want you. So therefore, this is a very positive sign, and therefore we expect that this pressure to ensure that you keep improving the acceptability in the marketplace keeps you busy. The second thing is, of course, things like I'm sure that the discussions here have happened over responsible gold and sustainability and so on and so forth. So many good initiatives have been taken. One initiative on which I think the IIBX is very keen to work on is to ensure that we come out with some good delivery standards for India. Because being such a very large buyer, I think it's very important to have an India good delivery standards. So, or an international India good delivery standards. We may call it whatever. So I hear from my team that I think the discussions are on and things are progressing. So let's hope that towards the end of the year, I think we should have some framework which will enable us to actually support the gold, which perhaps can be manufacture out of refining, probably in IFSC or maybe outside as well, within domestic India as well. So the need for such a standard is absolutely important to ensure that India as a very large buyer also plays, and the fact that I think we are importing nearly about 250 to 300 tons of doré should actually enable us to develop our own good delivery standards, I think. So I think we should, as part of the industry and as part of the government, policy support, work towards such development of such a delivery standard. The third thing which I would like to talk about is the role of IFSCA in supporting the retail demand for gold. I think we all know that there is a domestic market, and there is also a very large number of large Indian diaspora who live outside the rest of the world. So there are about 15 million non-resident Indians, maybe about 19 million persons of Indian origin. So all of them actually do savings, they do remittances into India. Last year, for instance, the non-resident community remitted into India about nearly $129 billion in the financial year, in the calendar year 2024. So this number has been going up, at the rate of almost like 20-25% every year. So I am very sure that while financial remittances are made, I think some of their portfolio also goes towards investments in commodities, I think, which includes precious metals as well. So therefore, there is a great opportunity for the IFSC ecosystem to actually support this process of gold, of investing in gold, I think. So therefore, we have been, very recently, I think the finance ministry also has brought in a tax treatment for exchange traded funds in GIFT City. So I see a great opportunity for a bullion-based ETF, I think, ecosystem in GIFT City as well. Now that we have, I think it will be a lot more easier for GIFT City, for IFSC to do it, because we have a full-fledged market infrastructure. Gold has been dematerialized, I think, because we have a gold bullion bar which is brought into GIFT City, is converted into a bullion depository receipt. So therefore, because of this dematerialization, I think the prospect of fractionalizing it and making available units of gold, I think, as gold securities is a very easy process. So therefore, I would expect that maybe the market players must actually take this opportunity to deliver these new products, various kinds of bullion ETF products to the international market, especially to NRIs. So this will certainly help in actually further scaling up the importance of IFSCA in garnering the investments that are made by the non-resident community in India, from India. The last thing which I would like to tell you is about the role of technology. I think technology is now the cornerstone of most markets, especially financial markets, to the extent that I think fintech is now playing an increasing role. So therefore, the opportunities in using some of these technologies to actually ensure greater trust and confidence in these markets is something which I think we must all invest in, especially things like, say, blockchain-based provenance tracking of bullion bars. I think we have been talking about for quite a long time, but how do we get it going in IFSC is something I think we must work on. So this is also an area where probably if there are a good collaboration between the IABX, the market infrastructure institutions, and startups or technology companies which provide these kind of technologies, I think is something which we must really look at. Very recently, we also issued a consultation paper on tokenization of real-world assets, which includes bullion, I think. So this is also eminently possible as a means to kind of inducting technology into the commodities world, I think. So therefore, we expect that the consultation paper to result in some kind of regulation, maybe in 6 to 8 months from now, which will enable tokenization of gold-based products, I think, which could perhaps happen on an alternative trading system as well, I think. So, not to speak of various kinds of technologies like AI and others, which probably the exchange and other kind of market players in the bullion system can perhaps use. The last thing which I would like to talk about is also about refining. I think there was a panel here which talked about refining. So there is interest in actually refining in GIFT City as well. I think so. In fact, one of the players has actually evinced interest and is in the process of working out a plan. But I guess the opportunity lies in ensuring that we not only refine for ourselves, but also we refine for the world. There is also a possibility. But though I agree that the margins that are there is actually coming down with every passing day because of the great competition. But even that as well, I think we should be able to support an ecosystem because of the various tax regimes that the tax-free regime that obtains there. So therefore, it is possible. There is a policy inconsistency in probably in the the basic customs duty concessions that are given to domestic refiners, which probably needs to be replicated in the IFSCA as well. I am referring to that 65 basis points. I mean, I think. Reduction for refining in GIFT City in domestic area. So we should also look at policy upgrades. We are working with the Department of Commerce in this. So we hope that a proper full-fledged policy for supports refining in GIFT City also should come out in some time from now. So with these few words, I'll stop here, and I also hope that these discussions lead to substantial recommendations which help in further enhancing the ecosystem there. We also believe that it's very important for GIFT City also to therefore, if you are looking at refining, to look at building an ecosystem where there will be assayers and other kinds of third-party auditors of all these processes. So it's very important to complete the ecosystem by having these players also into GIFT City. I think we will be happy to work with all of you to enable that to happen. With this, I'll stop here and also say that the IIBX outreach, I think, or the impact across the country is now, is now made possible through delivery centers across various locations. So IIBX is now, there are many vaults which have just opened up in Chennai. I think there is a second vault which is likely to come up, and we are also hoping to open up vaults in many other parts of the country where there is demand. I think so that the trading on IIBX results in near instant delivery at some of these locations, enabling the trade to reduce the costs of reducing the time taken and therefore the costs involved therefore. So therefore our idea is to enhance the IIBX ecosystem, and we will be happy to receive more recommendations in this regard. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your illuminating presentation. From him, we heard about the need for transparency in gold price discovery and how IIBX plays an important role. He also emphasized the need for research-based policy making for the development of gold delivery standards, ETFs, to the international markets, and utilizing technology for increasing trust in the markets. I invite Sundaravali ma'am to felicitate Rajaraman, sir.